Hi everyone. Uh, as promised, I think today this is a weekend. It's Sunday, 8th of August, and it's 10 o'clock as usual. And I have a surprise for you, Olaf, that I have a very senior most people. He's actually a senior manager in one of an MNC called British Telecom, and he's got a rich experience for taking interviews. And if we talk about the experience which he's possessing at the moment, I think it's more or less. Some of you might not even have an age of 21. So he's got a 21-year experience of working with an MNCs and corporate culture, and a lot of interviews he has gone through, and he has even taken more than that. So we have one of a great person with us in order to help us and to provide all his rich experience to help you in your building career. So here I would like to invite Sir Mr. Udyan Ahuja. Please welcome, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We really admire and appreciate your time and presence for being with us and sharing your experience. Sir, you need to on your camera as well. We can't see you yet. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Thank you
hi.
so much, sir. So
Hi, good
pleased to
evening,
have you.
Ravi.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, sir. Good evening.
It's always a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. Same here. Sir, pleasure is all mine and, all the D2L family.
I
We'll
hope
be
I'm
learning
loud
each other.
enough. I
Yeah,
hope
absolutely.
you can hear me.
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, loud and clear.
So it's
So,
it's a great pleasure to come on to your channel and really would looking forward to interact with the audience.
I think it's a pleasure of meeting with you and with all the people. So I think they all are extremely grateful to have you on board and discussing. So is that okay? So shall we start, sir?
Yeah, yeah, please.
Okay. So Udyan sir, before we proceed further with question and
Mhm.
answer, how
Mhm.
about if you can tell us something about you, like the kind of experiences you've gone through and the difficulties in let's say in interviews or in your career, how you build up in a brief way, just a brief one about yourself.
I think usually people start with a particular education and they go in a particular sector, but I started my journey in arts, and then I've done my post graduation in business management, and post that I got interest in IT, and I've gone through certain courses and got basic qualification of IT industry, and then I've joined organization called We Customer, and I've worked there as initially as a technical support engineer, and post that I worked as a trainer. I become later as a team lead. Then I went to Wipro. I was a team lead there in Wipro Technologies, and post that I worked with Tech Mahindra. I've worked with you, and
Yeah,
we had a pleasure of working with each other for almost 5 years approx, I would say.
yeah,
And,
absolutely.
I still remember our interaction over the teas, coffee, and we had a lot of interaction, I would say. And
Absolutely.
post that, we went to British Telecom, and later on, you have also joined the British Telecom. And so far, I've been working as a senior manager. I started in British Telecom as an individual contributor. Later on, I became a manager, senior manager, and I have team of highly motivated professionals who have been working with me, and I have a great pleasure and lifetime opportunity to work with such a diverse team. That's it. And
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
to
I know
reach
it. Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Sorry.
and to reach out there, it's not just started on the very first job. I think I've experience of teaching peoples, and I teach a lot of students over my college years, and I worked in one of the DD Motors for some time, and I've done door-to-door selling also for a very
Oh,
brief time. But I think it's just about it gives you a lot of experience, and you open up with the people, so that is very important. I think that's the most important stuff. It's how you interact with the people, how you deal with the people. I think
hmm.
that's the communication is the most important, and I think that's what you've been teaching to the people. So I think
Uh,
the people are in absolutely safe hands.
Oh, thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Yeah, it means a lot to me when it's coming from you. Thank you. So, Udyan sir, before we proceeding to the question, the question what I want, and I want all the audience even to know about it, that what is our gist to have this platform or probably discussing with Udyan sir is that I'll be asking certain number of questions about interview. I know you have gone through several interviews, and more than that, you have taken the interviews of the candidates. So the point is, when you ask a question, so we know there is a question. Let's say if I'm asking a question that why should I hire you? So obviously there is a read between the lines. There is a meaning what actually you are looking from a candidate, that he should be answering this instead of the word. So that is something what we are targeting with these questions, which I have put together some of the questions which I'll be asking you. So more of what is the answer which actually an interviewer look for when it comes to an interview. So
Okay.
that is something I would like you to probably help us and guide us through, so that most of all the people, those who are listening to us or may listen to this video later, can understand that how usually they have to face an interview, and how ideally when somebody asks a question to them, then what is actually that interviewer asking them or is expecting as an answer to them from. So that is something would help us.
So usually, if we talk about during the if we take the example of the candidates, usually the candidates would fall with the experience where they are freshers or
Mhm.
maybe having a 6 months or a 1 year experience, and they do not have much in their resume.
Mhm.
And basically the very first questions I've been asked, tell me about something about yourself, which is very
Mhm.
common stuff. These are
Right.
basically a icebreaker,
Mhm.
and this can be a make or this can be a break question. So here they want to understand how they want to judge your communication skill, how comfortable you are talking to the people, especially
Mhm.
strangers, and how you can build a rapport with the people,
Mhm.
how your listening skills are, how your speaking skills are, and what you have done in your life. So this
Right.
is a very safe question, and it
Mhm.
gives an opportunity to talk about yourself, give a brief description about yourself, what you have done, what's your name, where you have done your schooling or college from, just a brief 1 or 2 sentences, and touch upon the role where you want to work and what kind
Mhm.
of experience you have. If you do not have the experience, uh, try to create a rapport building, talk about the organization, how positive you are about the role, even though stress upon, even though you are a fresher, but I have certain qualities which are very basic, like I'm
Mhm.
very hardworking, I'm very positive, I have a very strong ethics, stuff like this. If that can be really emphasized upon, I think you can really make through the interview. So that's the
Right.
question. One should be, you would get the same question even though you are a fresher or maybe you are 10 or 15 years of experience. Tell me something
True.
about yourself. This is a basic icebreaker people ask. It's a common, but yes,
True.
it is a bit tricky question.
Very, very, very true, sir. And I think that's very true. It's an eye break, obviously, but there are certain apprehension usually people have. Let's say how to initiate, or there is certain apprehension about, let's say, if people are welcoming note, or it should be a close-ended question. How things. And there is one also one question which I have heard from some of my students. They usually come up. Let's say the hobbies. So usually people have less hobbies or more than that. Or in fact, some of them they do not even have hobbies a lot more. So how to hobbies are also some of the area which usually
Absolutely.
interviewer judge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So hobbies are part and parcel of a particular personality. You are not hiring a particular person, you are hiring a personality. And what kind of hobbies he has, there are certain people who have hobbies of stamp collecting, or maybe gardening, or maybe cooking, or maybe reading books, novels, reading journals. Well, web surfing can be a hobby for someone going through the YouTube videos, but emphasize upon the learnings, what you got out of it, or if you have a particular hobby of creating a small business or maybe an entrepreneurial skill, that is also can be a hobby. So try to develop one sort of hobby. This can be a question. It's not a make or break, but yes, it does tell about. So if somebody is asking you a hobby and you're just saying that I love reading books, so the very next question would be, oh, how many books you have read, what sort of books
Yeah.
you've read. So be prepared for that. And these are not close ended, these are open ended questions.
Right,
So
right, right.
idea for you would be to have, even if you pick one hobby, but you should know at least rich details about that. If you are
Hmm.
talking about the music, what sort of music, pop music, rock music, who's your favorite, I would say, musician, and
Hmm.
what sort of songs you like, you know, the very popular ones. These are the something you should be must be aware of. And if you're
Absolutely.
talking about books, reading, be very
Mhm.
careful whenever you say that you have reading is your hobby. So the next question would be which kind of novels, what would be the plot? You might be asked certain questions.
Right,
So
right.
very comfortable with the books. And if you have read certain books, then only please answer that yes, reading is my hobby. Else you can go for very common like gardening, cooking, surfing web, or spending time with my friends, traveling. Whenever you say traveling is my hobby, where you have actually traveled, you know,
Right. So means
apart
there
from
will
your
be
mama's
certain,
and nani's house where you have traveled.
yeah. I mean, there would be certain follow-up questions. So
Yep.
depending on what hobbies are you referring to, you
Yes.
need to be prepared for the follow-up
Yeah.
question.
It depends on
Absolutely.
whether this question comes in a start of your interview. If it's on a start, it might be touched upon on a basic. But if it comes almost at the end of the interview and the interview only happened for 15 minutes, expect that it gonna, extend it for the next 10 or 15 minutes, and you would be definitely be asked upon your hobbies. So talk in a very generic. So it's not
Hmm.
that you have to be a very stamp collector, or maybe you are a book reader, you're a bookworm. If you're not, let's not fake it.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
at working or chilling out with the friends can be a hobby.
Hmm.
Watching movies can be a hobby, and it just gives a personality about the person, what kind of person you are, and gives a very strong interaction. You know, but try to associate yourself with a positive hobby.
Okay. Makes sense. Absolutely, sir. I think it's a great answer. I'm sure the people will get and help to this. Okay, I'm going to read out another question, and the
Okay.
question is, what skills? I mean, usually interviewer asks, what skills or strength would you bring to the to the position, to the company? So when somebody is asking this question, what is he expecting as an answer to this?
So basically, interviewers trying to understand what sort of, I would not say package, but what sort of overall, you know, uh, value add you are trying to bring to the organization. So what kind
Okay.
of person you are, how they can relate you. So the very first thing is try to go into the interview with a listening mode.
Okay.
Listen to the person carefully. So the very first thing, if you're a good listener, you can say that, I have a good listening skills,
Hmm.
which is a very rare.
Okay. Okay.
So that's a
So
very good thing, but you need to practice it.
uh so
And
in one liner, if we have to answer this question, so what would be the best answer to this?
so I think I have what value I can bring into the organization, or what skill set I would possess. I would say that yes, I love to interact with the people.
Okay.
So dealing with the people is the one of the most important stuff. I have a good listening skills,
Hmm.
and everyone would say that yes, I'm hardworking. If
Yeah.
it's something apart from hardworking, I possess a good listening skills. I have a key attention toward details, but make sure whenever you tell that I have a key attention toward details, make sure that your resume should be very good. Free
Right.
from grammatical error, spacing error. So these are
Hmm.
the things you need to watch out for. So
Okay.
attention toward details is, and you are initiative oriented, willingness to learn, and strong ethics. You can really, without a doubt, you can say that I have a very strong ethics. So that is something loyalty you can expect, you know. So these are
Hmm.
the common things, but the rest, when you work in the organization, and then usually your skill sets are being discovered, what sort of person you are. what sort of
Hmm.
personality you have. But these are the common skill sets you can refer to.
Perfect. I think this makes very clear to this answer. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next question. Uh, okay, there is a one question. I think it's a very common one. That do you work as a let's say an individual or as a team? How would you like to work? So.
So usually, if a person is joining as a fresher or maybe
Hmm.
have 6 months to 1 year experience, it's very safe to say that yes, I would love to work as a team.
Okay.
If you would see in majority of the organization, you will have more and more of individual contributors.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Everyone want to shine and everyone want to show that they are the best, and that's where a lot of frustration comes. Working with
Mm-hmm.
team, bringing team towards a particular goal, and when you work with a team, you try to learn a lot. When you work
Right.
alone, right, you may not be able to learn so many things. So learning the team dynamics, taking
Mm-hmm.
team towards a goal, and being a essential cog of any particular machinery like a team is very important. So emphasize that yes, first I'm a team player, right?
Okay.
I would,
So
given a
okay.
choice, I would
Mm-hmm.
love to work as a team. However, as I grow further and as in on the way, I've been given certain projects which I can lead individually. Definitely I would love to do that. But yes, given a preference, I would love to work with the team. It will give me a chance to interact with a lot of people. This will foster your learning.
Absolutely. And I was about to ask this question that in what circumstances can we say that I can be a good individual also? I think you've already answered in your question,
Basically,
in
it
your
depends
answer.
on the kind of the task is given by your manager. If it's a
Right.
team goal, definitely you have to work as a team. If it's an individual goal, you have to
Hmm.
work as an individual goal. So I do not
Right.
have a calm to work with the individual at my level also. If I have to work individually on a something, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. But when you work with a team, when you work with certain people around you, it really bring a lot of strength, a lot of skill set, and lot of positivity within a project.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the key and organization need people which are team player, so that it can bring a lot of people towards a common effort to modern common.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's where
Very true.
you produce leaders.
Right. True. True. Very true. Right. Okay. Another question, which I think it's a very very interesting question. Even I see a lot of people ask that where do you see yourself 5 years down the line, or 5 years from the now, or 2 years from the now? So what is it which we are expecting out of this question?
So, well, when somebody would say that where you see yourself in the 5 years, you have seen in certain movies or maybe in certain jokes that you would tell the interviewer I would be in your position in 5 years.
Huh.
It's very easy to say, but usually it's not recommended anywhere to tell this in the interview. So,
Mhm.
I think what you can say that yes, I'm very excited about my current role, right? My aim is to develop a deep expertise in my current role and the
Mhm.
associated opportunities which comes along with that. And
Mhm.
the main thing is that over the years, when I work with people like you, with certain fine managers, I'll bring and develop my skill set. And as in when I grow further, I on the way I may be able to get more managerial responsibility or have a potential to lead on certain projects, and that I can bring value towards the organization.
So,
Refrain from talking about that I would be a project manager, I would be maybe a senior manager, especially when you are a fresher. But
okay.
yes, if you are a team leader, very well you can say that I'm looking forward to a manager profile in next 2 to 3 years, depending on how I perform, how the
Mhm.
organization would see my value add. So that is
Okay.
the question you are putting on yourself that yes, if I'm gonna perform well, definitely organization gonna reward me.
Hmm. Right. 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 So it's more of basically looking out the responsibility, that what
Yes,
more
value add.
responsibility I'll
Tell
be
me
carrying.
about value add which I'm going to bring to the organization on the way. So it's not a journey towards the end. On the way, what are the key learnings you are gonna have? What are the key skill sets you are going to improve, and how you will be gaining your experience, and how you can provide that value add to the organization. If
Right.
you have learned something from the organization, what you are going to bring it or give it back to the organization in terms of the bumper returns,
Right.
so
True.
that you can be a value add or a asset to the organization. This is what the organization is looking forward to.
Absolutely.
And the reason why people ask that whether you have an aspiration to grow in your current role or not. And
Mm-hmm.
suppose if you are a fresher and you talk about I want to become a manager in next 1 year,
Uh-huh.
and if they would say that you have a desperation, and if you do not get a growth, you might be looking
Mm.
outside also.
Right. Right.
Emphasize on the learning opportunities, emphasize on how I'm gonna increase my skill set, what kind of value add I can bring, and definitely if I'm doing good, organization gonna reward you.
True, true. Very, very interesting. And I think it's very, very clear answer, sir. Thank you so much. And I think it's a very difficult question, which even I have seen in my career also. When people ask, then I feel like, oh, what do I need to answer it? Thank
It's
you.
a pitfall, but yes, I think
I
this is the safest answer you would say. And
absolutely.
but if you are in a particular position like a team lead, you have a aspiration. You can say that yes, I'll become a manager. If you are an individual contributor, and if you work in a organization where you have a shift lead concept,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
start with I can I can work as a first. I would like to help the new hire and train them, and then probably I can look for a shift lead kind of a role, and then I can look forward to a team lead. Depends on how I perform, how I provide a value add to the organization. So keep on using these positive words. So I'm sure that
Right,
you would be
right.
able to connect this tough nut.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, another important question. Usually this is a kind of a trap question. I've felt it. So the usually interviewers say, okay, everything is sorted, everything is very good, but tell me, why should I hire you? There are a lot of people sitting outside, so why should I only hire you?
So I think first thing you can definitely put in yourself that I have a strong ethics. Without a
Hmm.
doubt, I would say that I possess a very strong ethics. There might be people who can be smarter than me. I have not met them. I do not know about their credentials, and it's very unfair to say that I would be on top of them. But yes, I'm a happy-go-lucky boy or a girl and want to really work with the organization. I want to learn, and
Hmm.
whatever I learn, I would like to contribute towards the betterment of the organization. So try to talk, and before you reach out to this question, first is and very most is how you build rapport with the interviewer. Talk
Hmm.
with a smile. Try to talk about get into the friend zone, not into too much of friend zone, but at least have that respect, and try to have that a very light moments, and try to drop so that they are able to drop their guards, you are able to drop your own guard, and
Hmm.
it becomes more sort of conversation rather than shooting the interviews. Okay, and they are going to have 10 questions to ask you. So usually they will talk about you, your family, and the more they talk about you, that means they are very interested to know about you as a person. So that
True,
gives a
true.
very sense. Otherwise they will go with what are your hobbies, what are your key skill sets. If they're going
Hmm.
with these questions line by line, it tells that it is very common. So try to break this. That will really give us you an extra edge over the other competitors. And
Hmm.
you smile, not you don't have to giggle in the interview, but you smile, and smile
Hmm.
really works.
I know. Of course it does. Of course it does.
It has
But
a reward effect. And if you are able to really get the interviewer and he can smile, and he can really a genuine, not a plastic smile, that means that you are doing really well, and you just have to be positive and see where
hmm,
you
absolutely, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's wonderful answer, I must say. And before we proceed further, I think there are a lot of people who are watching us. So I
are.
want each one of you, in case if you have any question, anything you want to ask with Udayan sir, so you can obviously put it in the comments below, and we'll take that question right here. and probably it might help you to answer those questions. So you can raise those questions. Okay, so we'll go forward. Okay, there is one question. Once the interview is over,
Mhm.
okay, everything is sorted, everything. So usually interviewer asks one question, that
Mhm.
do you have any question for me? So what is it he is expecting out of this question? Or is it just a formal one wherein he's just completing it? Or was he expecting something?
So usually, most of the cases, may be a formality, and maybe the interviewer definitely wants to ask you something. So here, you obviously, if you are hired or
Mm-hmm.
not, you will get to know. So don't ask whether I'm hired or how I've done in the interview. So
Right.
leave it. Don't be so impatient, right? I think read the body language. Body language is very important. Body language of the interview can give you a hint whether you would be selected or not. And
Mm-hmm.
don't ask this straight away question whether I'm hired for this role or not, and wait for things to come. And what you can say that, in a positive way, you can ask how the current organization, how the particular organization nurture the talent and leadership. How they make a better leader, and how they give a learning opportunity to the people, and
Mm-hmm.
what sort of learning I can get in this organization to develop my skill set, and in turn I can, provide a better value add to this organization. So in turn, how I can get trained to better serve the organization.
I think this is the best answer one I could ever have. And I think this is amazing. I was even thinking about while I was making these questions, what would be the best answer, but I think I couldn't think of this answer as the best one. And when you say thinking about learning and talking about the organization wherein you are being hired, I think that's the most two key point which we can take out.
Because the people who learn, they are the one who grow within the organization. And learning is not that I learn and I hop another
Hmm.
job. It's just I want to learn with this organization, I want to grow within this organization.
Right.
And by learning, what sort of benefit the organization can get. And I think if you can really complete this entire circle, I think you have cracked the interview.
Right, absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna take one more last question probably, and then probably I'll take your leave. I know. Uh, okay, there is another question. Why are you leaving your current job?
Well, again, majority of the time people leave the organization due to two things. First
Mhm.
thing is they leave their manager.
Right.
That's the number one. Second thing, people leave for money.
Yes, absolutely.
These are
True.
the two universal stuff why the people leave the organization.
But are
Third
they
thing
supposed to
is,
tell this upfrontly?
third thing is that they are looking for a better role. That
Hmm.
is another. So I think it depends on the individual to individual. Most time, people get frustrated with their boss, and they do not have a good positive working relationship with their boss, or boss do not have a positive working relationship with their employees. It happens both
Hmm.
ways, and so we have to understand. We have to never say anything not positive about your organization or
Hmm.
about your previous job or your current colleagues, your manager. Refrain from, because it's a pitfall. If you're not able to explain it well, definitely
Hmm.
that may not be taken as a positive sense. So talk about learning opportunities. In my current role, the learning has been saturated, and I
Hmm.
really want to improvise my learning. Looking forward to organization like yours, where I have a better opportunity to learning. I can better develop my skill set. I have a lot of potential, but I'm not able to use that because I feel that current learning is hampering me. And until unless the money is not a very very strong driver, do not use the money as a very strong driver. However, if you are in an organization for 6, 7, 8 years, you do not get a monetary growth. Yes, you can present that. I am definitely looking forward to monetary gains also, but not that's the primary concern.
Mm.
Also, and so that if I can get a better hike, I can
Mm.
really look forward to this profile or this role or this organization for another 5 to 10 years, so that I don't have to look outside. So that will really take care of my monetary needs. And my main goal is towards the learning, or this is a very innovative, or very interesting profile which is with your organization. I really would like to uh, develop my skill sets, and I'm really looking forward to this profile. If I can get be hired, this is my dream profile which I'm looking forward to, which I do not
Mm.
have currently in my the organization. So if I can be hired, I'm really happy to do that. So talk about these things rather than talking about your any unpleasant. There might be everyone has anyone which has experience of working in a corporate world. So they may have a positive, they may have a negative experiences. So
Mm-hmm.
generally, talking about the negative experiences, if you're not able to explain it well, it can be seen as a negative by certain individuals, not all, but
Mm-hmm.
usually the individuals who have lesser experience, or these are the pitfall questions which you must avoid, and the answers you must avoid, especially talking about something that a bad experience happened to your organization, a bad manager, or a bad working culture, a toxic
Mm-hmm.
working culture. So so it's not a work culture. It's basically it's not usually people refer to the politics. So it's not politics, it's the part of a work culture. When more than few people work together in a particular organization,
Mm-hmm.
rather than calling a politics, it's a work culture which comes.
Right.
Called as work culture. Every company has its own work culture, and how we can be integrated, how we can better get used to this work culture, and how you can use the positive stuff in this work culture. That is very important, rather than referring to the negative connotation which you had happen, negative experiences you had happen.
Mm.
Let's try to refrain that. I would say, be
Yeah,
diplomatic in that.
makes sense. Absolutely. So I think it does. Mhm.
Don't pour your heart out, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely, and that completely makes sense. Yeah, I think the gist what I can take out from this answer is that look at the positive side of learning new aspects, new things about the new company instead of talking about the bad experience with the company. So very well said about this. And
And always give it a feeling that yes, I really love my company, and it would be a very hard decision for me to leave this
oh
organization and come into the
my,
next organization, especially if you are working somewhere.
okay. So, but isn't it be a fake comment, because usually people are not good enough to fake out because they might not like it. That is the reason they're looking something out.
How you can't fake it out? I would say that this is your bread and butter.
Yeah, true,
You are still
absolutely.
making your bread and butter through the payment which you are getting from the organization. So think from
True,
that perspective. That is your bread and butter, and you really like your bread and butter. Nobody is
true.
like that. Your bread and butter would not would cease to exist from next day. So everyone
Mm.
would like to look forward to their bread and butter. So it's nothing to be fake.
True, true,
You may
absolutely.
not
Yeah.
like a particular person in the organization, or you may not like the culture, but if you talk about the
Hmm.
bread and butter, you are getting a payment. It's helping you to pay your EMIs. You're able
Hmm.
to get a chance to have a good lifestyle. So that is a positive aspect. So think from that perspective. So
Hmm.
definitely, uh, I've loved all the organization where I've worked. You know, people can
Hmm.
be different, but the per se organization, if you think about from the organization is too big.
Mm.
Usually people try to uh, have a one bad experience, and they try to connect that bad experience with the organization, but organization
Correct.
is too big. If you really, there are so many positive things which you like about the organization, think about that. That's okay. Not
Correct.
fake it, but at least you can give it a positive sense that yes, I would really love my company, and
Mm.
showing your enthusiasm, that will come into your enthusiasm. You don't have to fake
Abs-
it. If it comes, that's fine. If it doesn't come, that's okay.
Okay, makes sense. I have a question from one of my student. He has raised
Mm,
that the question is there are some situation-based question which
mm.
usually manager asks. Let's say you are being into that situation, there is a lot of pressure, and you're getting a call from your boss or from employees. Then how to deal with such situations, or in case there is a lot of pressure on your head and you're not able to manage, what should that person do?
So, situational based questions are given to understand how good a problem solver you are.
Hmm.
So, the why we hire good managers or a good team leads or a good leaders in the organization so that they can solve problems for an organization.
Right.
And when you talk about there is so much of pressure, pressure is a part and parcel of any role. And as you go further into your career, as you move on further in your roles, pressure would definitely come.
Hmm.
And we must learn the switch on and switch off techniques when you're in an office, you're working in an office. Yes, you're giving positive about your organization, you're thinking about your organization, not focusing on your personal problems. And once you are at home, it's majorly you are being into, you have a switch off mode where you can further concentrate on your personal life.
Hmm.
Once in a while, maybe you have a certain work assignments over the weekend, that's fine. You again switch on and then switch off. I think the moment you start learning that switch on and switch off, that really gives a lot of peace in your life. And how you can handle pressure and how you can handle deadlines, I think it comes with the experience. Everyone
Hmm.
goes through this tough time. And watch your managers, watch your senior leaders, how they handle the pressure, and never
Hmm.
resist yourself asking that how you well you are able to handle this pressure. People would love to tell about how I've developed my current capabilities. you know Everyone would feel glad to talk about that. So
Right.
ask people.
And
That will give you a lot of leaflets, and that will give you a lot of secrets. And this is something which comes with the experience, that people who have very strong time management skill sets, uh,
mm,
who are able to have a switch on switch off, and who are able to concentrate on few activities at a time, they are
mhm,
better able to do it, rather than people who say yes to lot of stuff at one time and not able to do anything at one time. That's the really thing which you have to watch out for. So try to say yes to few of the opportunities, but
mhm,
definitely prioritize anything which is critical to your boss, anything which is critical to your senior management. That
mhm.
needs to be your priority.
Right.
Organization priority has to be your priority rather than what you think as a priority, because organization has experience running
Mm,
itself, and they have spent certain time, and they have been profitable, they have been a market leader, and they know what are the things, and they know what are the expectation of the customer. So try to make their goal as your goal, and definitely organization and you both would be in sync, I would say.
absolutely. And in the conscious of the time, there are a lot of questions coming up. So I'll take, the quickly answers.
Okay.
I'll take one or two more. That's it, and probably will wind up. So, guys, for rest of the question, if you are still want an answer, you can put them in the comments below, and I'll try with the help of Udayan sir. I'll try and answer them. So, just I'll take another two questions. So, there is one another question. There is another situation. Let's say if an interviewer had asked you a question and you may not know the answer to this, so how will you react to it? What should you say, that instead, no, I don't know this, or how diplomatically or beautifully, smartly, one should answer it?
So practically speaking, you can't answer all the things.
Right.
uh, if you do not know any answer, any question,
Mhm.
answer to any question, first listen to the question carefully. It might be that you have not heard the question properly, or you have not understood it well, or you need certain associated information
Mhm.
related to that question. So ask certain questions around that. Try to build that information. and you
Mhm.
may get certain clues from the interviewer. Usually interviewers give a lot of clues. There are a lot of
Mhm.
subtle cues which you need to understand. You have to listen to those subtle cues very properly, and if you are able to get it, you do not have an answer, try to build up on an answer, but at least try, right?
Okay.
Give it a try. Don't say
Mhm.
no, I do not know instantly.
Oh, okay.
Do not go on a deep silence for the next 1 minute.
Mm.
So you can say no. I may not know this, or you ask for certain information. That information is given to you. Still, you are not able to answer. That's fine. That's not the end of the world. You can say politely that yes, I feel that I do not know answer to this question. But definitely, if you tell me the answer to this question, I would love to really learn, and so that I can bring my skill set or bring my. It will really increase my knowledge. That's
Mm.
okay.
Okay.
It's not a break or make question. There are at times it's not you have there is no tick mark that you have to say yes to all the questions. It's
Mhm.
usually how you respond. These are the situational questions. Situational questions. It's how you respond to the people. Most of the questions may not have a true or false, but how you respond and what answer you are telling for a particular question, and based on a situation, whether it would be appropriate or not. It depends on the kind of situations which the interviews ask, or what kind of situation is set in. So a lot of factor depends on it, but try to explain it well. And at times, if you do not have the answer, smile and say, "That's what I know about this. I'm sorry about that." That's okay.
Makes sense. Absolutely. The last question, and it's really interesting, though I can see a lot of many other, but I'll ask the last one only. It's about the salary. That if there is a salary negotiation, which usually happen, let's say the manager offer you 2 lakh rupees and you don't agree to it, though you are not, you are not okay with that figure. But how to discuss that point? Because you want that job, come what may, but you still want that should be a little hike onto it. So one should go ahead and say it upfrontly, or how manipulative or beautifully one should say this.
So I would say that it depends on two factors: whether you're a fresher
Mm-hmm.
and you have been looking for a job from a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and this is one of the role where you have actually reached it, and you may not make a mess out of it. So I think you would have a very less bargaining power,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and there is a big risk also that you would say that are you ready enough to leave a particular role just due to a lack of money? So it depends on whether you are working or not. If you're a fresher, first I'll tell you if you're already working. So if you're already working, you already have a salary. What
Mm-hmm.
sort of pay package you have? And as per the norm, try to figure it out from the market norms. What is the percentage hike we expect? If it's a services industry, it's a software industry. If the market is doing well, something around 30, 40, 50%.
Mm-hmm.
50 in a very extreme cases, but 20 to 40% is something a person can expect. Always do not try to tell that figure, put it as a negotiation, and let's see what is being offered. Try to if you said that yes, my minimum expectation is 30%, but yes, I'm a bit flexible. And they would say how much percentage it would be, say that, -5% to +10% also, both on the on the lower and the upper range. So flexibility, that doesn't always mean that you always go for a lower range, but it can also go for a upper range. So that's where
Right.
it brings in. And do not ask for the insane like 70, 100 or 200 if you're not, if you're, until unless you have a very strong skill set, you've been looking really urgent for a money, and there's a very strong driver, and
Mm-hmm.
that's understandable. You can go for 70, 100% hike, but you need to understand how well you have done in the interview. What is your key skill sets, which is really rare in the market, and in certain scenarios people get it, but usually try to say that yes, I'm a flexible. Try to negotiate it, and try to see and read the body language of the interviewers, and you may have that ability to leave that on the table also. It can be a make or break. I can give the example of one of my organization. I won't name the organization, Not the current one, but previous in my work life, there was a situation where I was asked for a particular hike. I given a particular hike, and we have reached to a particular level, and then they asked, that's it. It's a make or break whether you want to go forward. I said no, it's not. This is not something I'm looking forward to. I need
Mhm.
something more. I quoted them. Okay, they said okay, we'll let you know. And post that, I did not get a role, even though they said that if you can join the role in this particular work. And I denied politely that this is something very low, and I cannot make my end meet. So I politely refused that profile. Again, after 1 year or so, that same organization approached for a different role, and that again that same situation came.
Okay.
Trying to negotiate it a bit, but it reached to a point. It's again a make or break. In that time, I said, whatever is on the table, it looks good, so I said yes. So there is always a risk. The moment you
Hmm.
negotiate it more, it can become a counterproductive too. So there are at times, it's not like a haggling in the market, but do in a very positive note, with a very flexible attitude, and see where you end up. Even if you are falling short of your target, but at least if that gives a decent hike than what you're getting, and it's a good role, I think focus on your skill set building. Market The industry will reward you, and usually when you work with a very good organization, they have their certain pay ranges, and they will,
Mhm.
if you are falling short of that pay ranges, they will try to give you a better pay range. So leave it to the destiny also, and try your level best, but don't be very 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 choosy about that, the a particular figure. If that doesn't get, okay, I'm ready to leave it. Again,
Mhm.
it's a very risky. So
Right.
if you're in need of a job, try to explain your condition, try to explain the kind of amount of hike you are looking forward to. Put it to the negotiator, put it to the HR, and see how far you can go.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely, sir. I think it's already ahead of our time, what we expected. So, but I really really appreciate, sir, your time and the kind of help which you have given to all the people and those who are listening. Thank you so much, everyone. And the question which you have still unanswered, I would try and answer them in the comments below. And of course, I'll take in help from Udyan, sir. So. I would like to thank you once again, Udyan sir, for your time, your effort, and sharing your experiences with us. It's a pleasure meeting with you, and heartily, thank you so much. I would like to applause for you. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is mutual, and it's been a really great part, and it's a great experience to interact with your audience. And you've been doing a really great job, and I would say that people are really in safe hands. And you have such a yourself has such a well-rounded experience in IT industry, so I'm sure that you have great advice for them.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind words. It means a lot to me, and I know that you are almost occupied. But in case if we want you sometime, maybe for the live session where people can be here in the same live meeting, and you can be here. I hope will you be able to afford some time, maybe some other day, or maybe some other time when I can talk and take an appointment from you in that
Well, I can't deny you. I would say that we have
way.
such a,
How sweet of you. Thank
great
you so much, sir.
relationship, and definitely I will love to help the best I can. And it would be a privilege for me to interact with the audience too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All the best for your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. From bottom of my heart, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Bye bye. Bye.